Hey, welcome to Roll for Crit Podcast, the official podcast for rollforcrit.com. Watch, shop, play. I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and today in board game history, cardboard was invented. In 1654, it was actually an English product that was brought over to us from across the pond, and that's why today we have cardboard. It became a big thing in Germany. We wouldn't have board games without cardboard.
Of course.
Because it puts the board into board games, as I always say. Sort of my catchphrase. Anyway, we actually have a lot of big news today, a lot of good stories. First up, Star Wars Armada Fantasy Flight just announced some stuff for Wave 3 of the expansions for that game. If you haven't seen it, we did a playback for it. Well, there's some actually very interesting new stuff in this game, in this expansion, this wave. The first thing is this thing called flotillas. Actually, this is really the only thing. Well, there's some other new stuff, but the big thing is flotillas. So what's different, it's a new type of ship. So it acts like a ship. In Armada, there are ships and there are squadrons.
Right. This
is a ship. However, the model actually has two smaller ships on it, like a squadron, but they still act like a larger ship. If you haven't played Armada, this might be confusing. But what makes them different is, number one, if they collide with another ship, only they take damage. So other ships can kind of suicide run them now without fear. The other thing that's really cool is they're sort of your support class. So whereas most ships and squadrons have upgrades for themselves, these guys have upgrades that actually affect the other parts of your squadron, your fleet. So it might boost their bomb abilities or their attack powers or whatever. So they're like your buff, your support class, which I think will add some interesting dynamics. And in terms of cost, they're more similar to squadrons than ships. So they're a little less expensive. You can use more of them. So it's kind of like a hybrid of the two things.
I think it's good because it also it gives Armada even more difference from the X-Wing style.
Right, yeah.
I can't wait to see just a bunch of styles. Like now fast ships are all the rage, so you can suicide run them as soon as you can.
I'm really curious how that works out and what exactly the thought process was behind that. Why it must have balanced something somehow. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. And yeah, it'll be fun to see what kind of ships they have. I'm not sure that's coming out later this year. I don't know exactly when, but hopefully 2016. Since I'm giving them a wide range because it's March, so they have enough time to meet 2016. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Also, some new X-Wing expansions just came out, so there's always more Star Wars stuff happening. Another new expansion announced after that for another game that we like and did a playback for, Smash Up.
Yep.
Did you hear about this?
No.
Okay, this will be exciting. This is a new Smash Up expansion. I forget what they're calling it, but basically the premise of it is it's copyright infringement.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think we know all the classes in it yet. We might. I don't know. I think it might be a small one. I think there's 4 that I think have been confirmed.
Is this a bigger box or?
That's why I'm saying I think it's a smaller one, but I'm not 100% sure. But basically each one is based on like a property, but not so much. So one of them is Star Wars, one of them is Star Trek, one is Transformers, and one
I'm happy enough already.
and one is Game of Thrones based, but enough that they won't be sued by it.
Do you have a picture?
No. Well, there's one little screenshot. You can see it there, but we haven't seen any of the cards or anything like that. It was just announced like this, but I think it's I think it's a clever, funny idea, and it makes sense with the demographic for Smash Up. It seems like a perfect fit, and they have. Have they had like space, like astronauts or space
The aliens
people?
are the closest thing I can think of.
No, so
well, I think one of the spy cards has like a spy satellite or something, and the shapeshifters sort of look like that, but not really astronauts
like,
or something.
like Star Trek style,
No.
like adventures or something.
Well, I think that should have gone with the set that we want, that has like the Cowboys, Vikings.
The set that's stuff that should have been in the game already.
Is that going to be the title of it?
Yeah, but and I mean Transformers, obviously.
Yeah,
that's going to be I'm curious how
I can't wait for one of the action cards to be like, and move out.
Oh yeah, the puns will be heavy, I'm sure. It's definitely. I mean, it's probably going to be like a minion, and then you transform them, right? That seems like
you're going to have them as vehicles. It's going to be like superheroes. There's vehicles, and then you can give them up to get the other guys from your deck.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So again, I'm gonna say 2016 for that one.
Okay, you are.
Yeah, for most of these things, that's my bet. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Okay.
So that's Smash Up. That should be fun. There's plenty of good expansions for that already. More exciting news. I think this one actually is really cool. That this will be of interest to us in particular. Descent, the game, the journey, the show, the movie, the planet, is coming out with an app, an official Fantasy Flight app.
Okay, let me guess. You can roll dice.
Maybe, kind of. Well, it's a little different than you might think. What this app actually does is it's in addition. It doesn't replace anything in the base set or the expansions. So you'll need all those to play. But what it does is it comes with, as far as I know, a new set of campaigns, not found in the base game. But the app is your overlord.
I like that a lot.
There is no human overlord. Everyone's cooperative, and the way it works is it'll give you a starting tile, and for instance, like as soon as you move off it, it tells you what the next map tile you need is to go on.
So you actually.
So you build it as you go.
Oh.
And it controls all the monsters. It controls all that stuff. You input which expansions you have, so it will take into account whatever cards you have. It'll tell you which items are available for sale. The thing that I was most excited about before finding out about that aspect was just a bookkeeping function, just a better way to keep track of your stats and your heroes' items and stuff.
Well, it sounds nice on a lot of levels. One, I like anything that takes pretty much all the expansions together,
Right.
mixes them, which this seems to can do that. I love that Fog of War. I think that makes it a lot more interesting for the players.
A little more mysterious, a little more exciting.
Oh yeah. I won't lie. I like the fact that the AI replaces the Overlord.
Our friend Garrett is out of a job for good.
Yeah, there's already 3 other expansions to do it. We're just gonna pick that up with that.
Well, and the others. So I hope that eventually they let you actually use the campaign from the games. Like, it seems like it's only going to be new ones, and that if you want to play the original campaigns, you still will need an Overlord. I would really like it if they adapted those for this app, and especially also because this opens up an avenue for solo play too. You no longer need another person.
The other thing that's nice is because it's an app, there's much more likelihood if, let's say, I don't know, there's a certain campaign that is either pretty much broken depending on what side you're on. They can actually update it and fix it instead of us being like, "Why is it so bad?" and then looking up online.
Errata.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that because you'll know that it's correct because the app is telling you instead of some book that someone wrote.
The reason I made the joke about rolling the dice is because I know the X-Wing app is just dice rolling.
Right. Sometimes people just love board games but hate rolling dice. I don't know. It seems like a small Venn diagram of people that would fit into that. But
no, that app sounds really
strokes.
cool. I mean, even if it didn't replace the Overlord, I think all the other stuff is still worthwhile.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to try. It takes care of all the in-between quest stuff, visiting the towns, because there is a lot of...
Well, I think what also comes up in this is when you get to a point with number expansion stuff. And with an app, you can do a lot more interesting mini things or scenarios. That's one of the reasons that we love the Dead of Winter app.
Right.
So anything that does have a story in it, which Descent does, I think an app lends itself a lot more to...
It'd be cool if there was... I don't know if it actually has voice acting, to redo the... It probably does, to redo the scenario and stuff.
If there is, I want to be your voice in the weird, your awkward...
I'll contact Fantasy Flight, tell
them
to get me on the phone. I'll contact them to get me on the phone. I have to live a complicated life. So I'm excited. Maybe we'll actually play it again. If that app comes out, we won't. Now, a couple weeks ago, we mentioned Dragonfront, which is the new Oculus Rift card game. We've been talking about VR a little bit in terms of tabletop games.
Spoilers, we're excited.
Yeah, well, there's another one that was announced, which is a little different. It's actually adapting an existing game, Werewolf, into this new game called Werewolves Within. And it is essentially a recreation, an adaptation of traditional Werewolf in virtual reality. But what's kind of neat about it is you're actually sitting around a table. You can see people's, movements. If you stand up, you'll see them stand up. You can actually whisper to people, so you can see if 2 people are whispering to each other, you'll see that in the game. And there's actually there's a oral tracking thing. So farther away, you'll
So
sound.
just only track,
you could be
do you
quieter.
actually track movement and stuff?
I think it depends because, depending on which virtual reality system
Right.
you have, which controllers you have.
Well, see, because I just want to see, like in a game, you have it, you just stand up and everyone's like, what's he doing? And they just go.
Right. So I'm not sure on that front. Depends on which system you have. And also I'm not sure. I assume this will be available on like PSVR and all.
Yeah,
the
no.
ones.
And looking back, I'm not surprised this is happening. I remember when StarCraft 2 came out, one of the popular like custom games, they actually made Mafia.
Oh yeah.
Where you get a role and stuff, and you'd actually get, say, the EXP, you can buy like a bulletproof vest if you're a villager and live another night. If someone tries to kill you and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
All this amazing.
So yeah, I think it's definitely like it takes those social kind of games and makes a digital component an actual possibility, whereas just on a computer screen, well, unless you had cameras or something, but yeah, it's a different situation. And the other thing that's kind of cool is like it'll actually show you, like if someone dies, their ghost will show up, and if they were the werewolf, like it's a werewolf or whatever. So there's more of a visual component.
I hope
in
it
that
still
sense.
tracks you as a ghost. Like you still sit the game, so you can just be like,
It will be interesting, especially for playing with strangers potentially.
see what tells people have.
Yeah, I'm very curious. So yeah,
Oh, but even better is if you get strangers, like you get the kind that are trying to solve everything really well, like look at everyone's actions, then mixed with someone who just doesn't care and just never does the optimal action, so they don't know what side they're on. You just see the frustration.
yeah, that'll be definitely a big part of this. Also, a problem could be like rage quitting or disconnections. I guess that's a problem with all digital board games potentially.
You feel like you're about to get killed? I'm out.
Yeah, forget it. I don't want to be the werewolf. Anyway, so again.
Oh my god, if people just keep quitting until they're the werewolf.
Oh boy. Hopefully people will be better behaved than that.
They will not.
I'm going to keep quitting until I'm the werewolf. That's all I want to play as. Now, one last thing that we have to talk about, sort of video game related also. It was announced a new board game is coming out based on the popular video game Bloodborne. And you know about Bloodborne somewhat.
If you don't know about Bloodborne, in essence, you're sort of a hunter fighting pretty much the forces of darkness. It's often compared to sort of a mixture of Dark Souls and Monster Hunter. So one of those games that punishes you very much if you sort of are off target.
Calculated, tough combat kind of game. The board game is actually being designed by Eric Lang, who is a favorite of ours. Recently did the XCOM game. So I wonder if that's a thing, that he's really into doing these licenses now, or if they tapped him because of that, the success of
Well,
that game.
it's definitely interesting. First of all, I just noticed...
This is Cool Mini or Not, by the way.
Yeah,
not
that was the
Fantasy
interesting.
Flight, yeah.
But it does say card game, I believe.
That's right, it's a card game.
So,
yeah.
And we have seen like Xenoshift and stuff, so it wasn't the first time Cool Mini
has done a card game, right?
I do find it very interesting. I feel like video games are becoming board games more.
Yeah, well, I guess it's an easy... They realize there's a lot of crossover between those two audiences. So and a lot more people maybe who play video games but don't know board games as well, if they see the XCOM game or whatever.
Well, I should also say, when I say that they're crossing over, it's not just, look, it's Uncharted Uno.
Right. Actual decent attempts at... Although I
want
would
to make
love
that
Uncharted Uno.
I mean, yes, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do think for a lot of them it makes sense. I mean, some of my favorite games, Uncharted for you and like Fallout for me. I mean, half the reason we love some of these games are because they have story and interesting subplot. I mean, I can't imagine how excited you'd be if you heard there was like an Alan Wake choosing like.
My blood pressure just spiked up a little. Yeah, it was good. And I think part of it also is, at least part of why they're good now, is, and I think we're going to start seeing the same thing happen with video game movies.
I actually was going to bring this exact thing up. I think I know exactly where you're going.
Okay, let's see. Is that more people who are designing board games now grew up with video games?
Yes, actually, that's exactly because I watched a thing about why aren't there any good video game movies and why they start. And the thing is, like, because no one in the industry really knew video games.
Right.
And the same thing happened like with Marvel Comics. Like, we didn't really get superheroes, but when they start coming out, it's because those are the people who actually really started reading them.
Right.
Like, if you notice before I would call maybe the golden age of Marvel comic movies in DC, like the ones we have now, you ever notice that a lot, when they did do a comic book movie, it was like the Phantom Stranger, like all these really old guys, like you've never heard of, like, who died out. Because that's the ones they knew.
Yeah. Right.
So I think we are approaching that age when we're getting the people in both board game industry and movie industry that have actually played video games a lot and been like, this is great.
Which is kind of funny to think about it because, like, all those Marvel characters started like around the 50s and 60s, so there should have been people in the movie
Yeah, but
industry.
I think it was
It just
like
took a while to
and that peak,
Right. But it is funny. No, yeah. So I think that's a good thing. It means that like they actually respect those franchises and properties and do them a good service.
Well, yeah, and the more that I think they tie together, they sort of bring all of them, everyone up. And like I said, then we don't get just a reskin over Monopoly or Uno. We're actually going to get like something that we feel is deserving of the Fallout franchise, of the. I just realized when I say Fallout franchise, and they just released the Monopoly Fallout, so maybe not that one yet. But like,
there's
like
still
Bloodborne
Mass
and stuff.
Effect Risk and everything else Risk. Yeah. So anyway, but we'll see how Bloodborne turns out. I'm sure it'll be good. The Cool Mini or Not and Eric Lang, good track record. So I'm looking forward to it. We got some Kickstarter Pickstarters.
Oh yeah.
And the first one, I think I'm going to tell you about. I am. It is, speaking of video games and board games converging, this is Magica, based on the video game Magica.
But I think it has a bit of an interesting story about how
it's kind of interesting. So this is not made by the company who publishes the game Magica. It was actually this 10-year-old kid and his dad were playing this game, and he just started designing it, and they sent a letter off to the company asking for permission to license the game, and they said yes. They liked the design, and now it's on Kickstarter, and it's been funded very successfully already. So it's kind of a heartwarming tale for Kickstarter.
How does the game actually...
Well, basically, if you're not familiar, Magica, it's a co-op game where everybody is a wizard.
I think co-op.
Right. Yeah, this is not a co-op board game, I should say, card game. And basically, you have a bunch of different spells that you produce by combining different elements, sort of like recipes. So, like a lightning and a fire
lightning,
makes
yes.
fire lightning.
And I will. The reason why I want to make sure the quotation marks is even in the game, which, as you said, is co-op, the video game. There have been plenty of time when we've played it, and we sort of just kill each other.
Yes, there's a lot.
Sometimes by actual accident.
There's a lot of friendly fire, and part of it in this game is when you do a spell on someone, that you have to draw a mayhem card, so it could backfire, crazy things could happen, and it looks like they're definitely putting a lot of the sense of humor that Magica has. It's a very tongue-in-cheek kind of game, breaking the fourth wall, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're fans of that game, and it's got a great story behind it, and that goes for $25. You can check it out.
Maybe you should start new just the Steam game, like all the games you usually have on Steam now as board games. Like we got Portal now, we have this.
In the future, Steam games will be played on tabletops, and everything that was a board game will be played in Tabletopia or something on Steam.
We'll be waiting for the third Half-Life board game expansion.
That won't ever come out. Tell me about Daedalus.
All right, now Daedalus, you are actually caught in a sort of scientific lab prison.
Typical.
Yes, of course. But you have found a way, sort of a program to try to predict how to get out. The thing is, you're caught in sort of the center, and there's these rings that will rotate. And of course, it wouldn't be a prison without weird guards. In this case, they're actually failed scientific experiments of the prisoners before you.
Okay.
So it's your goal to actually try to escape by using a system that alerts you like where guards are going to be and stuff, and try to predict where the rings are going to move.
So is it cooperative? Are people? Does anyone play as the guards or no?
No, the guards move as from what I could tell, but it looks like just a really. It reminded me a lot of what's the game? Room 52, sort of.
Oh, was it 50?
No, 25. I mean.
25.
25. I mixed up. I'm a little dyslexic.
Yeah. It sounds like
and
that.
Like the idea of moving rings, I think is just really cool.
But with like a sci-fi twist.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm on board. Yeah, no, that one looked good to me, and it's from. Eagle Griffin Games, who also just did that one we talked about last week, the Egyptian one. So it seems like they have an interesting variety of stuff coming out, because this looked very different from the kind of things I was used to seeing from them. So that looks cool. That's Daedalus. That's a big one. That goes for $95. And they said retail, they thought it was going to be like over like $150 or something. Yeah. So it's got a ton of stuff going on in that game. And sort of along the same, going with the sci-fi theme, next one I'm going to tell you about is Emergence. You may have heard of this one. I've seen a couple previews for it. It's a hit and roll game. It takes place in the future. Everyone is an AI except a couple people, depending on number of players, are secretly humans. So
Those dirty humans.
Yeah, unlike most games, the humans are actually the people hiding in this one, and the AI is trying to figure out who you are. So every turn you're moving around a board, and you actually have different augmentations. So for the robots, they're just robot parts. For the humans, they kind of have been able to do cyborg implementations and stuff. That's not a word. And so you're moving around the board, you're picking up pieces to take different actions. You can steal from people, you can spy on them to try and figure out what identity they are, and humans are trying to like rid the world of robot resources. Robots are trying to get points for another thing. It's very interesting, but there's a lot of, it's kind of abstract looking in terms of the actual gameplay, but they're trying to go for more of a hidden role in terms of what you do on the board, I think. Equally or more so than just the trash talking element as a social element that a lot of these games do. So I think it looks pretty cool. Emergence. I like the theme. I like hidden roles. This goes for $39.
Yeah, no, it definitely is very interesting because, like we said, I think we were talking about hidden role game ideas beforehand, and the idea that usually there's the good guys and bad guys.
Right. Usually the bad guys are the
non-humans,
hidey ones.
Yeah. Well, even depending on how you see what's good and bad in this, but I mean, even though the humans are always the the open ones because that's just how we see ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was I can't think of the thing, but I know like other times it's weird to see humans a lot, and then all of a sudden in a world like Magica, that was it. It's like there's always humans everywhere, and then they did one world where there wasn't a single human.
Huh.
Which is like, huh.
Yeah, and I kind of like it, as a thematic thing, because it also, it's dystopian, it's post-apocalypse. It's a cooler thing that there's no humans.
And hopefully when playing this, we have to get like a red drink and a blue drink. So you have to decide.
We'll get that red drink, blue drink incorporated into something. And finally, Ember is the card game that you're going to tell me about.
Oh, yeah. Well, in Ember, you are wizards summoning magical beasts, and the point of the game is to have the best collection of creatures. However, you're summoning from this Ember, and as it is an Ember, it is going out. So when the deck runs out, game ends. Okay. So it's a lot of pressing your luck on how do you get points to try to go big or go home and try to get those really big creatures in, or do you try to get a lot of small ones and build the points up? And had like at least already, I think they guaranteed 30 different kinds of creatures, which I thought was really cool.
Different like kinds?
Like fairy, griffin, dragon.
So that's a lot.
So it's not just like there's 4 different kinds and you're placing it. There's a large variety and stuff. And of course, there's other ways for you to mess around with your opponents and stuff, and how mayhem can ensue. So I thought it looked like a very cool game. I mean, I'm always a fan of large mythical creatures. 30 or 20 or 30. I'm mixing up the number again. The different creatures. It's still, I think, a great variety, and I really like.
Yeah, and it's all card based, right? It's a card game, and eventually, I assume they'll come out with the sequel follow-up called Flamethrower. Mm-hmm. And later on, you'll get Fire Blast?
No. That's what comes first. You forgot Campfire.
Campfire?
Yes, there's going to be Campfire, then Napalm.
Oh, okay. I was trying to do Pokemon references.
Oh, I did not recognize that.
Thought you'd pick up on it.
No, I thought you were just saying things of fire. I'm like,
they're Pokemon attacks. Charmander.
Yeah, I realize
Ember.
now.
All right. Sorry, sometimes these miscommunications happen. We do it live here, folks. This is all going to be edited out. So again, that goes for $19. Small card game. So it sounds like that. I feel like that is kind of a sister game to Magica. They have their kind of, and the other two were kind of similar. I like to bring it all symmetrically.
You made a sci-fi sandwich using magic bread.
There's our episode title right there. So that is our Kickstarters and that is our news. We don't have like any special, we don't have a lot of viewer mail, we didn't have a special topic or anything to talk about this week. So we thought would be fun and different. We like this game called Dark Stories, which is basically a guessing game where you ask yes or no questions and you have to figure out what happened. It's kind of like these lateral thinking puzzles. And in Dark Stories, they're all about usually murders or death or something disturbing and weird.
Or maybe you think it's murder and death.
Right. So I thought we would go around and try to do one just for funsies. And I'm going to be reading it, and to aid you in your questions, we're going to bring on Ivan from behind the camera. And we're gonna actually play a tabletop game on our tabletop podcast, so it'll be something different. So you can play along at home, but I won't be able to hear your questions. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Thanks for joining us. Hopefully this all works out. If not, this whole segment will be cut. So, all right. Am I supposed to tell you the title of the thing? I forget.
Don't remember.
All right, I won't tell you the title. Here it is. One sentence.
Okay.
And you ask yes or no questions, as you know. His holiday wasn't beneficial to him in any way.
When they say holiday, do they mean as in like how the British called it for vacation?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Did he travel far?
I will say yes.
Was he told to go on the vacation?
No.
Was he alone?
Yes. I mean, he embarked on his...
Is he still alive?
He is still alive.
Okay.
Still alive, alone.
He didn't go with his family or anything.
Right.
It's not that he may not have been alone the entire trip.
Look at the instructions if we're not supposed to know the title or not.
I'll tell you the title. It's
Okay.
fine. It's not going to help you. It's called A Holiday with Consequences.
It might. Could've. Did he gamble? Literally, like the money gambling.
Has no bearing.
Okay.
Not relevant.
So where he went, is that of any importance? The location is the location of any importance?
I will say no.
He said, "I will say no."
It's not something that could only matter in this location.
Okay.
Did he fly there?
Irrelevant.
Okay, so the traveler.
Did he do this for fun?
Did he go on holiday for fun?
Yes.
Yes.
For pleasure.
Yes.
Okay. Could have been an
Can you read the sentence again?
Yes. His holiday wasn't beneficial to him in any way.
But he did it for fun.
Did he get arrested?
He did not get arrested.
Did he break any laws?
He did not break any laws.
Did he lose any money?
He did not lose any money.
Did he lose his wallet?
Nope.
Did he leave the country?
Yes, he did.
He left the country.
Yes.
Does he plan to return to the country?
Yes, he did plan to return.
Did he lose his passport?
He didn't lose his passport.
Was he alive?
Yes, he was. We established that.
Okay. Was this a long holiday?
Irrelevant.
Okay. So time doesn't matter.
Never mind, forget about it. I'm trying to think, let me think how to reword this.
So he's alone.
You,
Wasn't with somebody.
for the sake of time, I'll tell you, you were almost on the right track earlier with a certain line of questioning.
I had a feeling, I just don't know where to go from there.
Was he meeting somebody somewhere?
No, he was not.
Okay.
Did he lose something?
Yes, he did lose something. It
Was it his mind?
was not his mind.
Does it affect his health?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Did he lose his life?
No.
Did he lose his medication?
Nope.
Did he lose his glasses?
Nope.
Did he lose someone?
Nope. He lost something.
Did he lose an organ?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Was it is it an external organ?
No.
Okay, so it's an internal organ.
Yes.
Was it a kidney?
It was a kidney.
Okay.
Did he go on vacation somewhere and got drugged and then got a kidney taken out of him?
More or less.
Okay.
He called a taxi, the driver attacked him, and his kidney was removed from his body.
A little dark. A little dark for the show.
But you did it. You did it. Dark stories, so that was fun. So,
I'm just gonna leave.
thanks for
I want to see the artwork on it. I love stuff.
It was just him feeling sick, and then that was him with a scar on his back.
The lovely stories.
Well done. So, if you guys enjoyed that, had fun with that, please let us know if you want to see us ever do it again or never do it again. And we do sell Dark Stories along with many of the other games we discussed in today's show on our website, rollforcrit.com, where you can also find more videos, more podcasts, and a lot of great news and lots of other cool stuff.
And of course, if you actually want to let us know, you want us to play more or less of this, you can first just comment right down below. Really easy.
Or you can send us an email. Our email address is rollforcrit@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter,
Facebook,
YouTube,
Instagram. So many places to find us.
So many places. So I hope you had fun watching this episode. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Estes.
And I'm Will Keeler, and this has been Roll for Crit Podcast.